cool summer evening at the Tillamook County Fair. Antique stripped-down Ford Model Ts whip around a dirt track. These cars are 100 years old or more. They look kind of like old-timey dune buggies, basically just engines with wheels and wooden seats. Each seat holds 2 passengers in it to win it. A driver, of course, and a piglet. You'd be hard-pressed to find a county fair event quite like this one anywhere else. I'm Jen Chavez, and this is The Evergreen, a podcast about the place you call home. Oregon Field Guide producer Ian McCluskey went to Tillamook this summer to see what the Pig and Ford is all about.
Oh my goodness. Well, the name gives it away. It's all about pigs and Fords. And it's like a race, except for the only catch is they have a pig under one arm. So they grab a pig out of a pig pen, they jump on their Model Ts, they go whipping around the track at Tillamook County, and then they exchange that pig, pick up another pig, and do it again. And they make 3 laps. And it is a commotion. It's a cacophony. It is crazy pants, really.
Oh my God, I can hear the little pig buddies. And yes, a cacophony. Indeed, there's a lot going on there.
There is. And that voice you kind of hear in the background, that's the announcer, Mike Bentley. He's kind of the MC for the event, and this is how he describes it.
5:30 p.m. from Wednesday through Saturday. Those bleachers are full of people wanting to see some of the most redneck thing they've ever seen in their life. And I don't use that term to be disrespectful to the, Pig and Ford racing and the Model T Club. But I'm just calling it how it is. It is quite possibly the most redneck thing I've ever seen in my life, and these guys are here to win it.
Yeah, it sounds like quite a show. But Tillamook is known for their dairy, not their pigs, right? So how did the Pig and Ford get started there?
Well, this is kind of like a local legend, a myth, if you will. I don't really know, but it started way back in, I think, 1924, 1925. And I asked Marty Walker, he's a champion of the Pig and Ford races, and he told me this story.
How it started is 2 farmers going down the road trying to get their pig back. A guy's pig got loose, and the guy drove by on a Model T, jumped on, and they went and caught it, and that's how we started the racing.
And they've been doing this for almost 100 years now?
Yeah, just about a century. It's been passed down generation to generation, and it's basically a handful of families. They got together and formed an association back in the 50s. And ever since, you kind of see the same group of families just vying year for year for the championship. And I think about half of them have the last name Hurleman. And I talked with Perry Hurleman. He's a retired logger in Tillamook and a retired Pig and Ford racer.
Our family was big into it when we were little. So we would follow Dad out there and watch him race. And then I continued on, and then I ended up having 2 boys, and one of my boys races it today. And he's got a boy that is 13, so he's chomping at the bit. He'll have to wait till he's 16, and then he'll get to race.
So is this a competitive event or more just like a fun time for everyone involved?
Well, I think it might have started as a lark and some entertainment, but it's gotten really competitive. Marty Walker is someone who's won it probably more than anyone else.
It's how fast you can run, how quick you can get your pig, how fast you can start your car, and how fast you can get on it. And the driving is a smaller portion than the pig and starting the T portion of it. So the pig and the starting of the T is the most important.
Yeah, so when he's talking about starting the T, you got to remember, these are like Model Ts. So this is what they're doing. They've got a handle, and they're leaning over the front of the Model T, and they're wrenching it with their hand, trying to get it to start. And sometimes it'll start right on the first go, but then if they miss, they have to do it again and again. And once they get it, the car putters to life, and then they jump in the seat, they mash on the gas, they shift their gear from low gear to high gear, they change the accelerator, then they're off. And of course, they're doing this all with this the pig the whole time.
Yeah, I'm imagining baby pigs can get pretty wiggly. Are they tough for these racers to hold on to? What did you see when you were up close to the whole operation?
Well, they can get kind of feisty, and they definitely squeal a lot, and they also poop a lot. And you might not, from the safety of the grandstands, you might not see that, but down trackside, there's a lot of things flying, and it can get messy, but you got to keep in mind this is Tillamook County, dairy country, and a lot of these guys grew up on farms, so they are pretty used to livestock and animals, and it's all kind of day in the life of Tillamook County. But it was kind of funny the moment after the world champion won, and he was going to do a victory lap with the dairy princess. He had to kind of wipe down his seat the dairy princess could get in his car with her formal gown and her tiara and do a victory lap.
Oh my God, that is an incredible image. Thank you. Coming up after a break, how do the pigs feel about all this? What about the pigs? Like you said, and like we definitely heard, they sound pretty feisty during the race. Do we know how they feel about all of this?
Well, I wasn't able to actually interview a pig, but everyone that I talked to about it was very serious and very committed to pig safety because, as the name Pig and Ford implies, is you can't have a pig and Ford race without the pigs.
The first responsibility is to take care of that pig, handle him properly, no abuse there. We stress that big time with our club. Take care of that pig, number one deal.
And when the pigs are in their little pig pens, they're perfectly fine. They just squeal when they're getting picked up. And you also have to keep in mind, these aren't big, full-grown pigs. These aren't 100-pounders, because that would be too unwieldy to tote around the track. So these are just kind of small piglets. And they've got guys stationed around the pig pens and around the track looking out for the safety of the pigs. And if a racer mishandles a pig, he'll be immediately disqualified from the race. And Perry said that after the first day or two, the pigs get pretty used to it.
We had guys one year, his car died. He just left it sitting on the seat and it just sat there. Yeah, he started his car, comes back, grabs a hold of him, away they went. You don't see that very often, but it happened. Yeah, they get kind of used to it. I think so.
And you mentioned, the grand champion. So what do the winners actually win here?
Well, they don't win a big cash prize or anything. And really, the glory doesn't really extend much past Tillamook County. So for them, it comes down to this kind of coveted trophy. Mm-hmm. And what makes the trophy so special is there's a plaque on it, and there's a couple dozen names engraved on it. And if you start reading all the names, you see that it's actually kind of a lineage of grandfathers to fathers to sons. And so for them, for the winners, it's really about family legacy. And this is how Mike Bentley, the announcer, explained it to me.
You get to keep that trophy all year long at your house, at your residence. And that's what they're prideful of. So a back-to-back win is just amazing because they're bringing the trophy back home. They're ready for it. They want that championship in the worst way. And if Grandpa's not here to celebrate that, I guarantee you they're looking to the sky saying we're bringing the trophy home.
I love that. Okay, so one thing I've noticed is that we've only heard men's voices so far. Are there any women who compete in the Pig and Ford?
I was very curious about that myself.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time in rural Oregon and on ranches. And, one thing I've learned in my life is that farm girls and ranch girls are really tough.
Yeah.
So I went to Perry Hurleman, the retired logger and retired Pig and Ford racer, and I asked him that question.
Good question. Actually, the way it's set up, they would have to be voted into the club, would be the deal. And that question's come up before because my cousin Rick has a daughter that would have loved to have raced. I got two sisters that would beat half of them guys up out there racing. They would have liked it, but I don't know why. We've never had any women in there. But like I said, it would have to be voted on. I'm not saying they wouldn't get in there. So there never has been a woman in there, so I don't know.
Okay, I feel personally invested in seeing some farm girls in future pig and Ford races.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so Ian, after taking in this whole experience, did you get a sense for what has kept this pig and Ford tradition going for almost a century across like multiple generations of local families?
Yeah, I mean, that was honestly my biggest question. And it's something that I'm fascinated by is the idea of tradition, the idea like in oral storytelling is you can pass something down generation to generation, but it only takes a single generation to say, we don't care anymore. We don't want to do this anymore. And then it stops. So I asked everyone I could, why do you keep carrying this forward? And Chris Hurleman's been racing since he was a teenager.
Being until my grandfather did it, and I was old enough to see him race once. And then watching my dad all through the late 80s and 90s. So it just kind of, you grew up doing it. You grew up being a little kid, excited to watch dad. The fair was all about pig and Fords. So it's just kind of one of those deals where you just took over. And then I was friends with all, the dads used to race, and then you get to know the kids, and then they're your friends. And then so we're just kind of like a family. So it just comes second nature now.
I think that's just a great way to kind of summarize the spirit of it. They keep it going because it's not just a tradition, it's their tradition. Tillamook County is a county of about 27,000 people, but during fair weekend, it grows to about 70,000 people. Oh. And at the center of the fair is the pig and Ford race. And it's the big event of the year. It's kind of an embodiment of who they are. It's an embodiment of their families, their traditions, and that idea of passing it forward generation to generation to generation. And I think, in the modern time, that's pretty special.
Yeah. Well, Ian, thank you so much for sharing this unique Oregon tradition with us.
Thank you.
That was OPB's Oregon Field Guide producer, Ian McCluskey. You can see a video and read Ian's story about the pig and Ford on opb.org. Thank you for listening to The Evergreen, a podcast from OPB. If you're here listening right now, you are a part of our brand new podcast family. Help us grow by leaving a review on your favorite podcast app. Follow us there, and hey, tell your friends. Julie Sabatier produced this episode, and our technical director is Stephen Cray. He engineered this episode. The OPB podcast team also includes Mia Estrada and Sage Van Wing. Ian McCluskey and Stephanie Gordon did the interviews you heard. The music in this episode is from Audio Network. If you have a question for us, please reach out. Email theevergreen@opb.org. I'm Jen Chavez. Catch you later.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.